Hmm. Awkward. Oh, no, we're just cute like that.
And I still hadn't actually turned my microphone on. Hello, third time of asking.
Third
Oh my
time's a charm.
goodness, it's an early morning. It's been a little bit longer than necessarily we would have hoped for, but we are finally here for Game 3 of the day. Detention FocusMe Academy versus Burning Core Academy. A repeat of the tiebreaker that we saw yesterday, and I know you've got some strong emotions about that one, Lexi.
Yeah, that's a game that Burning Core should have won. And should have won is the word. Floor had a fantastic early
Yeah.
game. Got a huge amount of ganks down at bot side. Yellow Yoshi was playing weak side pretty well for a period. Yeah. Then everything fell apart, and Regis had probably a pop-off game that they've ever had. Netsuti on that Viego was just an absolute machine and just started 1v1ing Floor, which
Yeah.
is not how that was meant to be going in
Nope.
Floor's mind. And yeah, Marimo also got really popped off on this Cogmore that they just seem to have a pocket pick on and they can't lose with it. So, hey, DFM won that one. I'm kind of expecting it to go that way again, Middlecott, if you had to really twist my arm.
Oh, I think I'd be forced to agree with you, but not happily because, like you said, Burning Core were definitely in a position to take that game. And I look at these players like Floor, like Creative. These are, I think, a couple of the more aggressive players that we've actually got in LJL Academy. So I was really surprised yesterday that they weren't able to up the tempo, keep pushing forward and grab the win. But it doesn't take anything away from DFM. They had a scaling composition with Marimo's Cogmore, like we've talked about, goes for these AP and AD builds based on, I don't know, maybe he flips a coin or something in Champ Select. But they scaled up. They played team fights very well. And once they got to that level 16 points, with the ultimates from the Oriana, from Ree and Marimo, pretty much just game over.
It was, and from minute number one, it was like, okay, this is Burning Core Central. They have the advantage. They just know how they're doing it. They're playing the early game. This is how this matchup is meant to go. If you are playing an early game composition, you get the ball rolling, a
Yeah.
versus scaling comp as well. It should be lights out. It's just that one or two very clutch team fights came out for DFM, and they somehow were able to just carry it from there. Surprisingly so, really.
Yeah, and I think clutch is the word, because DFM, I constantly have to reevaluate what I think their overall skill level is, because I think
Hmm.
individually some of the players aren't quite the same level as those on the Hawks and a couple of those on Burning Core. I don't think that
I
Ree is
think
a
that's fair.
stronger mid laner than Creative, although he is quite good. What I've been really impressed by. Okay, well we're free to disagree. That's how it works, you know.
No, I know. I agree with you. I think
Yeah, yeah.
creative is just a better mid laner. Yeah, absolutely.
But what DFM have really shown up in is that strategy as we've got later and later into this tournament. We're going to be jumping into picks and bans now. DFM sat here on the blue side, Burning Core Academy on the red, Irelia already taken off the board.
I'll be interested to see how much is going to be different between the first game, yesterday's game, and today's one. We are still playing on 11.16. I wasn't going to be sure if we are going to be doing any crazy one-off patch changes moving into playoffs, but no, we've stayed it. LeBlanc also taken off. This is kind of following suit. That Yasuo, I'm expecting maybe a Felios to be the third one for the side of
Hmm.
DFM. I'll let you know what the other ones were. Syndra and Renekton most likely for Burning Core in this first rotation.
Yeah, targeting out the mid laners, I definitely think is a strong strategy.
Hmm.
Creative has been one of the most pop-off players that we've seen. So taking
Agreed.
him off this Yasuo, off this Irelia gives you a few more options in the draft phase. And then DFM, they don't want to see Yellow Yoshi's Kennen, and there's the Aphelios ban, like you mentioned.
Yeah, this last one has to be the Syndra because both these mid laners absolutely adore it, and then we're probably going to be seeing a Rise Oriana rematch. Oh, it's the
Ooh.
Akali coming out a little bit earlier. Again, another champion that was banned by the side of Burning Core, just in a different order. And there's that Viego that played such an important role in the first time, or well, in the tiebreaker matchup for DFM.
Yeah, and I'm going to be interested to see if Bernicker actually stick with a lot of draft elements from their game yesterday, because obviously that early game was exceptional for them, and
Yeah.
they just sort of weren't able to translate it into anything more. So we could see stuff like the Thresh picked up here for Bacote. Floor could also run back on the Lee Sin, and I don't think too many people would be unhappy to see that.
No, absolutely not. The thing is, for Burning Core, the coaching staff can turn to the players and go, so what you were doing was working. And
Hmm.
it did. It actually did work. It's just your execution in the mid-game point wasn't what it needed to be, right?
Yes.
It's a very much a, you can X, Y, and Z, change it up. And that's what Burning Core are actually doing. They're like, hey, not only are we going to change up this comp a little bit, we're going to go for a champion that has a slightly better time in this kind of environment. We're going to go for that Zizao, and then DFM insta-lock in the Frolordian bot lane of Braum Ashe, which they've had so much success before.
Yeah, I really like seeing that this duo picked up. It's been something that teams are trending a lot more towards globally, and it offers you a bunch of obviously slows and utility, but your kill pressure in lane is actually fairly high as well because you
Unreal,
have
yeah.
this chase down potential with the concussive blows and the frost shot as well. You're playing something like the Varus that doesn't have any innate dashes, and that dark passage isn't available. All of a sudden, it could look really, really rough for Burning Core's bot lane.
There's gonna have to be cleanse there for Akabuff. Like if he doesn't take cleanse, he's just feeding. But he took cleanse last time when he was against Leona. So I think we're probably safe to say against a Braum Ashe, it's probably going to be the exact same case. That Syndra band as well. Remember, we still haven't had our mid laners, so there's a good chance like we're probably going to see what are the other bands that we're probably going to be seeing? Vladimir, Cassiopeia targeting creative here,
Yeah.
because you just got to go into it. It is that going to be a creative a ban, and it is going to be that Kassadin.
It's quite weird actually the way that drafts have been warped when you are going against creative. It reminds me of the DFM versus Axis game in the playoffs where they just banned out Honey's pool completely.
I
so
mean,
that he
7
wasn't able
bans
to...
for bot lane, yeah.
It's pretty rude, and I think we're seeing overall a pretty significant focus around that mid lane as well. Obviously, with the Syndra removed. And the set most likely targeted towards Van, and there goes the Vladimir. So yeah, creative has to dig really deep into his pool. Does still have that Cassiopeia and the Rise available if he wants to go towards those.
Yeah, and for Ree as well, that Orianna is still open. So I expect we'll probably see top lane blind pick here, probably something like a Gnar for Yellow Yoshi. We saw him on that Gwen previously. Poppy is a pocket pick of his, and it's actually one of his most played champions, famous for playing it on his streams. He's locking it in, and this is the time to bring it out, right? This is the gauntlet match. This is the only match that really matters at this moment in time now for Burning Core. You win here, you get over to semifinals. That's all you're caring about at this moment up. Take the game in question, put yourself on a comfortable pick. Van, though, wants to respond with a pick that actually won DFM a game yesterday, though.
Yeah, the Tom Kedge can just play so aggressively into basically any matchup. And whilst the Abyssal Voyage can be cancelled by that steadfast presence from Poppy, I can't see Yellow actually getting a lot of value out of that ability, as it will be Ree's Orianna locked in, Burning Core, maybe having horrible flashbacks to this pick from yesterday. Obviously, that huge shockwave in the Baron Pit to turn around the game and win it for DFM. Will he be able to do similar things this time around?
I think that's a very important one. He is 100%. They are 100% win rate on this Orianna as well. Oh, yo, we're getting a zero.
Okay.
Yo. Okay. I'm up for this. It's a counter pick. It's legitimate counter pick for Orianna.
Yeah.
Ree has got 100% win rate on this Orianna, so in Academy as well. So this is like pocket of pocket picks for Ree at this moment in time. I am very excited to see how this laning phase is going to go, because theoretically it should be Burning Core focus, and like they've got the Xin Zhao, they've got a Xerath. Like this is actually really good setup as well. If you land a stun on this Orianna, game over.
Yeah,
like so game over. There's so much buzz. Oh my, creative Xerath. I'm trying to think who there's a mid laner. Oh no, of course it's Syros. I was like, who's the mid laner in LJL that would have played Xerath before? Syros, of course, yeah. Wow. What are your thoughts on this matchup?
Well, right, so this is actually I've actually seen this a fair bit, because I've done a lot of I've done a lot of casts for
Xerath is very popular in the UK scene.
very popular. There's a guy called Sam J. He
Yes.
absolutely loves to bring out Xerath whenever he's against an Orianna. And the reason it's so good is because you just outrange her at every point in the game. So the safe wave clear style that Rhea will want to be going towards on this Orianna, yeah, you can't really do that. And like you mentioned, does have that stun as well, which has a pretty disgusting duration if you're landing it from a decent way away. So there's a lot of setup for floor in the jungle as well, which is exactly what you want.
Yeah, and not only that, I actually think the composition that they've drafted here with creative, it's kind of very much a front to back composition. Floor, Yellow Yoshi, Picote, they all kind of play this weird pseudo frontline. I mean, Thresh is a guardian, so he plays actually everything, but Thresh is almost the second evolution of Lee Sin. He can do anything and everything. So, I mean, let's be real here. He plays ganking champions better than anything else, and that's Lee Sin. Wait, no, that's Thresh. Doesn't matter. He's the keeper of the keys. I mean, Thresh is just every champion in just every way. He's truly the best champion that's ever been designed for League of Legends. I might have a bit of a man crush on Thresh, but
okay, man. When they dropped that new skin, I was like, oh, that's.
I mean, okay. Everyone likes it now. It's the best Thresh skin. Except maybe Spirit Blossom. I don't know. I'm just still trying to get over the fact that we're actually getting a proper counter pick for an Orianna in LJL. Like, what is the future of this for the region? That's great, dude.
It's crazy. Never before seen. Mid laners counter picking in intelligent ways. It's crazy. I love it.
No, unless your name's Arya, that doesn't happen.
Yeah, it doesn't happen. But it is really cool though. There is the worry for Burning Core that they don't actually have big disengage outside of the Poppy ult, the Keeper's Verdict. You're not connecting that, and it's pretty difficult for you to actually egress yourself from situations, especially when you've got Van on this Tahm Kench that can keep Abyssal diving forward, and you've got Ashe.
And a Braum shield. And they're gonna have to fight through a Braum shield.
It's rough.
But the thing is, TFM only get one time of use out of some of these abilities, right? That you can only put an Abyssal Voyage. You can only do that once in a team fight.
Yeah, most
same
likely,
thing with same thing with a Braum shield. Like realistically, that thing goes on about a 10 to 15 second cooldown.
Not fun.
You can very easily, as a Xerath and a Varus, just go poke. Oh, they've done it. Just wait. All right, now we go back again, and we just keep going again, and it's like, meh. It's going to very much come down to these two teams and who's smarter at playing the macro game around the team fighting area, because laning phase, I'm not too worried for either of these teams. It's how they're going to transition and see who gets the advantage. Obviously, Xin Zhao needs to get an early game advantage over Viego, or you can just get outscaled by Vape Nation, but there's always that opportunity that Xin Zhao just gets 2-item advantage, and Viego's always playing catch-up.
Yeah, and you really don't want to be playing catch-up. We saw that worked out fairly well for DFM in the previous game, but relying on your opponents to make a mistake isn't an effective strategy if you want to win a game that you absolutely have to win if you want to progress any further into the tournament. We are going to be jumping into game. DFM on the blue side. DFM Academy on the blue side, my apologies. Burning Core Academy on the red. This is a best of one knockout game, so win this and you continue on to the semi-finals, lose and you are going home. See DFM stacking towards this bot lane, but it will be spotted out.
A little surprised that DFM are deciding to go for a bot lane. Well, it makes sense why they are. They have got Braum Ashe, which is one of the most powerful like level 1s that you can get with that Braum passive. It's basically like having 2 spells at level 1. They get spotted, as you mentioned, so they'll just have to reset. Important thing I do want to mention is that Creative didn't go for the standard barrier that most Xeraths do go for. He decided to go for TP, so is going to be in a slightly interesting spot. He also is going for Biscuits for the laning phase with the free boots pickup, because, hey, why not? Instead of going for the standard precision tree and going for, like, coup de grace. So he is going to miss out on a little bit of damage, but he's aiming for more sustain for this laning phase, so potentially they're not comfortable, or maybe they're just going full scaling and they just want the boots for the free for just free gold advantage. I'm not
It'd be nice.
Yeah.
Some free shoes. Can't really turn that one down. It depends on the context in which you're getting free shoes.
Always, yes.
Yeah.
If it's free shoes but the game's over, I mean, who cares?
I was more thinking IRL. Like, if it's free shoes, like, from a shop, I'm down with that. If it's,
right, sure.
If it's free shoes from like a gutter, no. Okay, you can keep them.
Yeah, you don't want the shoes that have been over a power line.
Yeah, they're not magical. They're not magical. They're just upsetting.
Jesus, I actually got the reference there. Wow. I wasn't expecting that. I was like, okay, well, that's where I'm at today. Xerath mid lane and getting random offshore references. Okay,
Hell yeah.
How it goes is this is probably going to be the laning phase now, middle cop, for the next 5 minutes.
Well, we can do better than that. Next,
12 minutes.
12 minutes. Come on.
15 minutes. We'll hit the 15-minute mark. It will be 0-0 still. Because unless a Braum lands something crazy and a Viego can get the stun chain, and the Thresh isn't playing slightly behind, which is what they're meant to be doing because they're a Thresh with the Lantern, nothing should happen. Mid lane is actually just a farming sneeze. And then top lane, Tahm Kench versus Poppy. Neither of these champions have kill pressure.
I feel like across the board there is a lot of people that shouldn't be dying.
Yeah. Which honestly does favor DFM a tiny bit because hey, they've got Vape Nation. That's probably one of the best champions at scaling.
You love calling him that, don't you?
I mean,
they
fits. Made the champion like that.
I love it. You actually enter into the dankness of the mist.
Oh yeah, now he goes. He has entered the dankness. If they don't make
Fujimoto's fine. Fujimoto's fine. No one's dying in the bot lane.
I want to get hope because I feel like that's the most amount of excitement we're going to get. like similar to where EU, when when Worlds actually came to the UK.
Yes.
Because you've seen the VODs.
I've seen the VODs.
And when wards were getting destroyed, the UK crowd was like screaming and going mental at it.
I mean, like that was just what the meta was back then. Like it was so much about
it was, yeah.
Securing vision, denying vision. Obviously, there was a lot less vision in the game.
Unlimited wards on the map.
Oh yeah, that was very fun and normal. There's a lot less of that now, so you have to make plays with a bit less information than you used to, or maybe just a bit more implied information. You got
It's why Nunu support was a legit strategy for a period of time. As both these junglers come around, as I mentioned, Nunu. Funny that. Let's see how this goes.
Ulpakote walking up does get the double flame. Marimo has already used his cleanse, dodges away from the wind, becomes lightning, and that means that Nasuti can go forward. Marimo picks up the first blood, and Burning Court are forced to run. That's the flame with the stolen Thresh from Nasuti, as Marimo will actually get taken down here as Floor is just sustaining. Taken down by Nasuti as he pops back into the Jinjiao's form. It's a 2-for-1 in favor of DFM, but that looked dicey.
It absolutely did, but Netsuti was able to also get the Thresh hook as well. So this Viego's got Thresh mechanics as well, which forced Akabuff's cleanse. So much went so good for the side of DFM here, though it's not flawless, and we have to just watch this Viego immediately takes over, grabs that Thresh Black, comes around, and then lands this stun onto Akabuff, forces the cleanse out. They then turn around. Now, obviously, Floor does get that kill, but it ends up still being a 2-for-0 for the side. This is a Viego. Ashe also getting one of those kills. Even though she dies, getting one of the kills is pretty huge because it means the experience and gold a disadvantage that she would have been in if she didn't get that gold from the kill would be far larger. However, because she got the kill, she's actually above Akabuff at the moment. Though both these AD carries don't have any of their summoners, so something might happen just like this.
Oh, Nasuti popping out of the purple haze, lands a Spectral Maw. Pakote doesn't have flash or a hope in hell of getting away. It's another kill going over to the DFM jungler, and Dragon is also free on the table.
That's probably the worst member that you could ever have getting fed on the side of DFM for Burning Core. It's like, honestly, anybody else could have 2 kills and 1 assist. Anybody else, and it's still salvageable. Viego getting very early scaled as we just see Orianna ultimates to clear waves and to maybe hurt the enemy mid laner. DFM are in a place that they probably only dreamed they could imagine going into this match. This is the kind of thing that the coach says to your players and going to just kind of amp them up and hype them up, like, yo, Netsui, what you're gonna do? You're gonna get a double kill down at bot lane. You're gonna get sick Thresh. You're gonna land the hook. You're gonna just do everything. And the player goes, okay, boss, I believe you. The fact is, they came into this play with that belief. They land the stun because, as I mentioned just before that play, they don't have any summoners, so immediately they have to run away like with the tail between the legs. Thresh ends up being a sacrificial lamb. Oh dear, this is just awful territory.
Absolutely does not stop. TP's coming in to try and save Fujimoto. The stun onto floor
no,
buys some more time. Here comes Van, does have level 6. Devour is an option as Yellow Yoshi knocks back Nasuti. First kill of the fight goes over towards DFM, and they are hungry for more as Akabuff gets chased down. Pagote will follow as well. And in the 7th minute, we land our 7th kill of the game. Nasuti finally misses a skill shot on this Thresh, but DFM are also happy with how this game is. Here comes the Arcane Barrage. A double kill going over. Doesn't hit with the 3rd shot, but Creative rescues that play for Burning Core.
Rescue saves, just actually salvages this game state. As you mentioned, 7 kills in 7 minutes. DFM had 6 of them, and there's a huge advantage happening for Ree at the moment in this mid lane with all that turret plating. We gotta talk about how this engage goes so well, but the lack of vision from the side of Burning Core actually does come to bite them in the ass. The fact is, they don't know that Netsui, or this Viego, is coming around the corner, and then everything's been lost. I love the fact that Tom Kench threw for the slow of the jungler to actually then kill, to make sure that they were going to be slowed. It's just great CC. It's great awareness of how your champion's working, and DFM just constantly playing around vision. As I mentioned, they didn't know that the Viego for Burning Core was coming around, so that was always pretty awkward for them. The fact is, they got to TP into the middle of the lane because Burning Core hadn't cleared anything, and they just got to collapse, which is also equaled into first mutual objectives and an Ash Arrow.
Yeah, Pacote has been caught out, tagged with the concussive blows, shockwaved as well. Marimo gets another kill. And I'll tell you what, Mars Swan, this is reminding me a lot of our game yesterday between these two teams. However, this time around, it's DFM that have got the big early lead.
Yep, and I have to imagine if you're Creative right this second, you're probably cursing at the moment, and I would be if I was them, because you have to look at it. We're only 8 minutes into this game, and the bot lane of Burning Core has sadly met their demise 5 times. But there's been a heavy amount of pressure from DFM. They clearly identified, and they had the pre-6 lane. Like, Braum Ash, as we identified in that pick and ban phase, we're like, this is one of the strongest bot lanes you can get. Absolutely should DFM be giving them pressure. The fact is that it's actually worked out for them in a very advantageous way. And yes, while their AD carry has died twice, the amount of gold and experience they haven't missed out on because of all this assist and everything, just look at it. They're actually ahead at the moment. I told you, middle pot. I knew this Ashe was ahead, and it's not just in game sense. The eye test works well.
Yeah. It's definitely been impressive stuff from DFM so far. Similar picks to what they had yesterday, but the game's going a lot different. And I do like that we highlighted Marimo, because it feels like this bot lane duo of Marimo and Fujimoto has gone under the radar a little bit. It's very easy to talk about some big names like Marble and Hetel. I think Chico and Primo have also looked exceptional. But these guys have quietly been the carries for a lot of what DFM wants to do. Obviously, Nasuti is in that bracket as well. They've had a lot of setup potential with this 2v2 lane, but they're also providing a fair bit of damage. 100% kill participation for Fujimoto. Marimo only missing out on 1.
Yeah, Marimo has been...
Well, that's a very nice shotwave onto Creative, who's just going to get taken down with a Heartbreaker. DFM saw the play coming from absolutely nowhere.
And they are also getting this first turret as well. They're getting all this turret plating gold, by the way, onto the jungler and mid laner, which we already know. Ree got 2 of those turret plates already.
Oh, Nasuti. Oh, maybe you've gone too far against Floor. The Xin Zhao is not weak by any means, but you are able to extricate yourself from the situation. As that show from Marimo. Forcing the flash, like we said there. And this does mean that DFM have a little bit more pressure around this Drake. Nasuti still very low, will be forced to back or jump into his jungle to heal up. This would give the Burning Core Academy roster a chance to pick up this Ocean Drake.
Yeah, but I think you're okay with giving over the Drake when you got the pick on the mid laner. At that same time, you also were able to get the first turret. That's a huge amount of gold injection into this mid and jungle. And then we just had to go, okay, we know that the side of DFM were just overall ahead in every single department of the lanes. Now, as we come into this replay, I think it's comfortable to say it's just, geez, that is just a perfect one, as well as also just the Rift Herald being spawned at the same time. Like, Akabuff was like, I'm just going to go for this, and then... Well, yeah, oh no, not Akka buff. Netsui is just like, I'm gonna go for this, and then yeah, just face up. Really, that was just cleanly played from DFM.
Yeah, it felt like Reed was the only one that was actually there in that situation that knew what was going on. Sees creative step up, pops the shockwave, and then Nasuiti's like, oh, okay, well, I guess we're getting another kill here. First death for the Burning Core Academy mid laner. He's really the player that needs to step up for them in this game. Now that they've got that early deficit on the bot lane, and Poppy and Jill aren't really going to be able to carry. DFM looking to shut down Yellow Yoshi. That's the Abyssal dive forwards, but they're actually able to knock him into the tower. More members of DFM are in the area. Nasuiti just proccing that Divine Sunderer at 12 minutes, which is very normal, but Burning Core have got enough members in the top side to respond and force the blue side team to back away.
I love how I know that Ree's watching this exact moment, but he's also staying off of vision, so the members of Burning Core don't actually know. If you can just see him on the mini-map, this Orianna is still staying off of vision, has got a slow push wave building up in this bot side, doesn't need to show themselves, and the more they don't show themselves, look at how much pressure just not knowing where the Orianna is forcing them to Burning Core. The moment they fully disengage, Ree shows up and then goes, well, all right, well, I'll push this lane and I'll get a turret play. And then the moment they do that, they're like, I'm gonna just immediately go out of vision. They know I have my TP, and it's back and forth on the side of Burning Core. Because they lost this mid lane prio, they're having to just be pulled around the map by DFM going, okay, where do I go here? Where do I go there? Creative's having to now match, obviously, where Ree goes. And this is just kind of the to and fro that this game wasn't meant to have. This is not the dynamic of the game that Burning Core was setting out with their pick and ban phase. But because of how the early first 10-15 minutes are going, they're having to just play and kind of just fend for themselves and hope that they can get creative to get a few picks, that the Akka buff can get a few items going so they can actually start scaling. And we're actually seeing aggressive itemization coming out of specifically Akka buff to try and find so their poke actually still does something in this early laning phase.
Yeah, obviously that Serpent's Fang isn't going to be doing as much damage as something like a Dust Blade, but by chunking down those shields, it makes Creative's life a hell of a lot easier. And I like what DFM are doing right now. They recognize that they can send Ree down to the bot lane, has the teleport available, and there isn't really anyone on Burning Core that can 1v1 and kill the Orianna. DFM, though, Herald spawning in 5 seconds time, moving forward towards the top side of the map, trying to generate pressure around this tower and around that objective.
Yeah, and we even see that the buff, that the tier for Akka buff isn't even anywhere near the stacks that it would want to be at this point in time. Normally at about the 15-minute mark, you're expecting to have a few more stacks on it. It's not a huge deal, but as they're not anywhere near even buying their Manamune at this moment in time, and it looks like second Rift Herald is going to be going over to DFM without any contention. What's important for this one is it's something that I've been mentioning a lot on the broadcast in the past. You don't need your full team to do this. The only reason that you will go for a full team one is if you're looking to try and do something like this afterwards.
Yeah, Yellow Yoshi is a little bit dead. 5 members of DFM. That's a good flash away, but the ultimate's combo down. Ree picks up his first kill of the game. DFM will be looking to secure this tower as well.
Yeah, and what's great is they only have to force the bot lane of this. They can immediately rotate around. Ree does have TP, as does Van. So the side of Detention FocusMe, if they think they might lose a large objective like this mid turret, they can absolutely get there. But they don't even have to at this moment in time, and Floor's pretty far up.
Akaba throwing out the Chains of Corruption. Burning Core Academy looks scared, honestly, the way that they're playing. Seeding pressure very, very early on. They know that DFM are ahead quite substantially at this point, and their best bet to hold on is just to not do anything. Try and avoid fighting.
Yeah, I mean, when you know you're this far behind, and you can start telling how far you are behind when you just start looking at the mythics, and you just start going down these 2 boards and go, well, there's a Bramble Vest and already a completed, and the completed mythic for the Tahm Kench. You've got the Divine Sunderer, Ludens, like all these things. You just start, like, Burning Core can just start going, they're just way further ahead in just gold. They've got the Rift Herald. If we ever feel like we can get a pick, that sounds great, but DFM need to keep playing for the map and keep this tempo going, whereas the side of Burning Core want to put up the cross and say, no, stop, demon. I command thee, please stop, because this is, you're sinning. Because what else can Burning Core do at this moment in time? They are literally at the Detention FocusMe's whim at this moment in time. Look at this, they're just seeding the Rift Herald at the moment. They're just like, we can just get 2 turrets mid. This is a way better EV play for us.
Yeah, so TP actually coming out from
one.
Reed, going towards the top lane. DFM are just free to move around the map as much as they want. They don't care that Burning Core Academy are going to be able to pick up this Drake. Doesn't matter. It's not important as they are getting the charge onto the inhib tower.
They're not.
And with this wave stacked in the top lane, Reed might just be able to take this top lane tower as well. This is a brilliant play by DFM, recognizing what Burning Core Academy wanted to take away and taking away even more themselves.
Absolutely. Huge amount of gold injection into DFM. And oh wait, this was the team that already had a gold injection. Seeing the issue for Burning Core here. This is going from bad to worse, ladies and gentlemen. And you know they've done all this pushing. Mid lane is well and truly pushed. Top lane well and truly pushed. They've not pushed the bot lane. Why would they do that, Mars Swan? Well, let me tell you, Mars Swan, I'll let you know that one for sure. It's because they're not interested at all playing around the dragon. If they were interested remotely in playing around dragon, you push bot lane. Why do you do that? Because then the opponent's lane is further up, so they're playing with less vision of the lane, meaning they can't actually aggressively push in through the bot side. DFM had no interest remotely to play around this bot side. They didn't care about this Cloud Drake. It's a Cloud Drake. Who cares? One Cloud Drake doesn't define a game. You know what does define a game? A timer that just appeared on your screen, Middlecop. Baron.
Yeah, and because there are no towers in the top side for Burning Core Academy, which can get pushed in a lot further by DFM. There's a good response though, picking up this mid lane tower, but you see on the side waves, DFM are just content to keep on farming up with their solo laners and maybe look to lock down this bot lane tower as well.
Yeah, I mean, also Burning Core are pushing lanes as a 5-man unit, and they don't even have any jungle control over their own jungle. They are going to go up to this top side to try and find something, but look at Ree at the moment. Even with Creative getting so much solo farm and experience, he's still a level behind.
Oh, he might be dead here as Zasuti just one-shots him. There goes the Enchanted Crystal out onto Akaba. Fujimoto's in the fight as well. Here comes Van the Devourer to save Dasuti's life. Now, Floor is a little bit caught out. The concussive blows will be stacked, and the Keeper's verdict will be thrown out, but it just does not matter. The shockwave flashed away from by Akaba, but DFM will take a 3-for-0 fight any day of the week.
And what's even better about this is they pushed the wave. Like, this is absolutely beautiful from Detention FocusMe. They find a pick and go even further. Creative, I was mentioning you with the saving grace, not that you might be the one to get picked on. Huge find from Netsui there on this Viego. 4-0-5, and they're having the game of their life. Probably the best moment for them.
It's absolutely brilliant from DFM. I like they didn't take that mid lane inhibitor either. They recognize that you don't want to be just funneling gold and experience into this Xerath.
No. You're meant to take it. You're meant to take it at 19 minutes. You have like a 98% chance in doing it. You should just take it. You should actually take it. I'm serious. Those stats have actually been researched. Only two teams lost out of like 60 teams when they got it. As in this replay, I mean, Marimo decided to play frontline for half of this. Like, it doesn't matter. DFM have won this game. Yeah, no, watch, oh my god, I always butcher his last name. Tim Sven Hyunsen? The gentleman that operates and does Run It and Oracle's Elixir. He did a really good video on this. He basically broke down from Freak's video, and then went even further in depth into it, and basically was like, yeah, only 2 teams lost. One of them because they didn't go for an aggro push, and then they lost 3 team fights in a row, like back to back to back. But otherwise, at 20 minutes, you should just take the inhibitors.
Okay, whilst it could have been a reality for DFM, it's nothing more than a dream for Burning Core.
Oh, absolutely.
So sieging in this mid-side, 9k down, and don't really have any way to do anything. Thank you, observers. Yes. Minion Wave died to bot lane tower. And there isn't really anything that you could do now if you're Burning Core Academy. Yeah, you're pushing up very far, but you don't win a fight, even 4v5. Floor could get caught out now as he just takes half of his health bar for basically no reason. And DFM are just absolutely content to collect these waves.
Yep. Oh, and they can just engage as well.
Ooh, big shockwave, but it only lands onto Akabuff. That's not as much engage as you would necessarily want. Floor is in a little bit of trouble, as is Yellow Yoshi. The Gore Drinker isn't enough to keep you alive as 2 kills go in favor of DFM. Van, Abyssal voyaging in on top of Creative, who has no mana. That's another kill for Nasuti as Bakote is stunned with the concussive blows. Akabaf running for his life on the backside, but will be felled, as is the Thresh. It's a clean ace for DFM, and it's Baron time.
Well, look at that. Detention FocusMe win yet another team fight, and it all begins through that Ash arrow. Marimo has been not only a defining member on that Kog'Maw, this is an Ash as well. This is another sign. This is a different axis. It's a completely different champion when you think about AD carries. Ash and Kog'Maw fundamentally play extremely differently. One is supportive, one is a hyper carry. And the fact is, they're performing expertly on both of them. They've just got to earn that turret down it. Well, they got that turret ages ago on bot side, but Natsui, are you going to be a little bit low, or can Creative kill you?
I'm not sure if you even win this if you're burning core. Nasuiti's able to just jump himself away, but will go for the attack onto Creative. The Spectral Maw doesn't connect, and now the Viego's a little bit on the run. Reads in the area, though. The Shockwave lands onto 2, but there's not enough sustain in the kit for Nasuti to survive that one. An overstep by the DFM jungler, but ultimately it's going to mean nothing more than this straight for Burning Core Academy.
A little bit disappointing, playing a bit too far up as it turns out, but at the same time, I genuinely believe Viego almost was going to turn that when I saw Ree coming out of nowhere. I was like, ooh, small chance they turn it. Thankfully, the damage isn't that broken. I do feel like older Viego, when he was really, really broken, probably could have. Just glad that didn't happen. But, I mean, he's got 6 kills. I mean, a man can dream. A man can dream. I don't know what you want me to analyze here.
I don't know, man.
There's over a 12k gold lead here. I mean, one of these teams is
I
not
mean,
like the other.
if Nasuti wins that, I am very, very upset.
You know which champion could have won that, actually, in that exact scenario?
Udyr.
And it's always Udyr, obviously. Like, I mean, I've got level 7 mastery on Udyr as well, my dude. Like, I'm biased as well towards Udyr life. Gwen. I feel like Gwen with Snap actually probably could have won that with Mist as well. Like, it's that kind of weird situation that I don't know if they could have ever found themselves in that, but yeah. As we're just knocking on the front door of Burning Core at this moment in time with, like, a very polite way as well, actually. Like, Burning Core, Detention FocusMe could be getting forcing this down, and Burning Core could be at the whims of them, but they just seem to
like how
want to do this cleanly.
Van is just chilling in mid lane. He's just sat there empowering up the minion wave as
he's not even lip flashing. He's not even queuing or autoing. He's just like, yeah.
He's vibing. He's picking up the CS as DFM pick up their first inhibitor in the bottom lane, rotating towards the mid now. And we'll look to pick this one up as well. And, oh, look, they slow pushed a wave in the top lane, so they're going to be able to Baron empower that one up as well and get this top lane inhib tower.
It's like they're taking notes from their main team.
Oh, my word. This is very exquisite play, but not from Nasuti, who's forced a Heartbreaker away. Does still get hit by the Chains of Corruption, but the death sentence will not, as Yellow Yoshi steps a little bit too far forward and will pay for his transgression with his life. Bakote forced to flash back. There goes the Heartseeker. The death sentence will only mean death for Thresh, as Steel is not in this game. He's on the main roster, but Nasuti is doing a damn good impression of him as he picks up another kill. Van gets one more. Creative forced to run away. The last remaining member of Burning Core Academy, the right of the Arcane, does not matter. And DFM in 25 minutes take down Burning Core Academy for the second time in 24 hours and push themselves to the semi-final.
You didn't have to do Burning Core like that at the end, but abso-friggin-lutely, what a dominant performance from Detention FocusMe. There was a killer minute that game. But it was all DFMs, really. And the fact is, it never let up. From the side of Detention FocusMe, very clean performance. I 100% agree with you on that middle cop. That was... Well, I'm very excited for semis, to put it lightly. I'm extremely excited because some of these teams that are coming up through, their level of play just keeps getting better and better. Week on week, not even week on week, day on day that we keep seeing them.
I think it'd be difficult for them to improve week on week because then...
They'd be better than the main rosters at this rate.
Yeah, better than the main roster, that right? But it has been very impressive, and DFM definitely one of those sides that has showed that growth. It was a bad day 1, day 2 for them, but they've really started to improve. But the point is that that play, slow pushing that top wave so that it crashes with the rest of your waves. That's something that I wouldn't really associate with an academy team outside of maybe V3.
Yeah. Top academy teams which are borderline almost main roster worthy, or probably should be main roster, better than probably bottom 2 teams. Like, if DFM academies start doing this, we've already seen the side of the Hawks doing this as well earlier in the day. Oh, this last match is definitely something. It's got high expectations. I have very high expectations for this final match.
Well, it should be a bit of a banger. Why don't we have a little bit brief discussion just before we pop to a quick break about the upcoming game, V3 versus Sengoku. I think for Sengoku, it's you've got to just throw everything at this game, everything in the kitchen sink, try and make it stick. But for V3, I think it's important that you dispatch Sengoku as cleanly as possible, because they are coming in as the lowest seed in this playoff bracket. And if it isn't a convincing win for V3, then I get a little bit more worried for them.
I do give them a minor benefit of the doubt if potentially we see similar to Rascal Jester, Crest Gaming Act, where there is life out of Sengoku in the early game. And maybe they catch out V3 in 1 or 2 spots. We have seen V3 get caught out a little bit. Though they always win, there have been moments of that could be tidied up. And this is me nitpicking. This is us nitpicking at this point, really, because V3 are just so dominant. They could probably be a playoffs team in the actual main LJL.
Yeah. I think that's fair. It'll be a tough task for Sengoku, but we will have to see if they are able to stand up and actually perform. We'll be going to a short break now, but we will see you in 5 minutes' time for the last of our round 1 games in this tournament round day. It is V3 Academy facing off against Sengoku Gaming Academy. Don't go anywhere.